Barcelona have their new winger and it's going to be Karim Adeyemi.
In modern football, there are not many players more terrifying in open space than Karim Adeyemi.
Here's Adeyemi now for the Schwarzgelben. Adeyemi wasn't going to miss from there.
There, Adeyemi still going. Karim Adeyemi going all the way. Stunning individual goal.
Adeyemi's chase. This Adeyemi for Dortmund. Marvelous finish.
The German international has built his reputation on one thing above everything else: pace. Give him a few yards to run into, and defenders are usually beaten before they've even realized what's happened. His explosive acceleration, quick changes of direction, and direct style make him one of the most dangerous transition players in Europe. The moment he sees space behind a defense, he's gone like Ronaldo's World Cup dreams. Look at what he did to Chelsea in the Champions League back in February of 2023. After Dortmund cleared a Chelsea corner, Adeyemi picked up the ball inside his own half and just took off. Reaching an incredible speed of 36.65 kilometers per hour, he sprinted more than 70 yards, left Enzo Fernandez trailing behind him, rounded Kepa, and calmly finished from a tight angle. It was one of the greatest counterattacking goals of the modern Champions League era and showed exactly why defenders panic when this guy gets into open space. He proved he's far more than just a pace merchant in the following season. Against Celtic in October of 2024, Adeyemi tore the Scottish champions apart, scoring a first half hat-trick in Dortmund's incredible 7-1 win. Instead of relying purely on speed, he showcased his brilliant movement inside the box, how clever his positioning is, and how clinical he can be with his left foot. Against Bayern Munich in March of 2024, Adeyemi scored the opening goal as Dortmund claimed a famous 2-0 win at the Allianz Arena, once again proving he thrives against elite opposition. Barca are hoping that he can do the same under Hansi Flick. Just a couple of years ago, a deal like this would have been impossible. The club was stuck under La Liga's strict financial rules, struggling to register players and constantly having to slash wages before making new signings. But by the summer of 2026, everything had changed. Laporta and Deco finally got Barca back under La Liga's 1-to-1 spending rule, meaning every euro the club saved or earned could be reinvested into the squad. Adeyemi's agent, Jorge Mendes, had offered him to Barca several times in previous years, but every conversation ended the same way. The club simply couldn't afford him. Now they can. And the reason they wanted Adeyemi before was because he was always seen as a super bright talent. During the 2017-2018 Under-17 Bundesliga season, he scored 15 goals in just 15 matches, putting himself on the radar of clubs across Europe. The club that moved the quickest was Red Bull Salzburg. In 2018, they signed the 16-year-old and placed him with their feeder club, FC Liefering, giving him something many young players never get, and that's regular senior football. It proved to be the perfect move, because across 35 appearances for Liefering, Adeyemi scored 15 goals and added another 12 assists, showing that his speed and finishing translated just as well against experienced professionals as they did against youth defenders. By 2020, he was ready for Salzburg's first team, playing under Jesse Marsch in one of Europe's most aggressive pressing systems. Adeyemi really flourished. Over the next 2 seasons, he helped Salzburg win 3 straight Austrian league titles and 3 domestic cups while developing into one of Europe's brightest young forwards. His breakout campaign came in the 2021-2022 season. Adeyemi scored 19 league goals in 29 matches, finished as the Austrian Bundesliga top goal scorer, and played a huge role in helping Salzburg reach the Champions League knockout stages for the first time in the club's history. Funny enough, thanks to these good performances, Hansi Flick, who was the manager of the German national team at the time, handed Adeyemi his senior debut in September of 2021, and Adeyemi marked the occasion by coming off the bench and scoring in a 6-0 win over Armenia. It capped an incredible year that also included him winning the European Under-21 Championship, so it came as no surprise that Borussia Dortmund came calling the following summer. They paid around 30 million euros to bring him back to Germany, believing he would become the next superstar to follow the path of Erling Haaland and Jadon Sancho.
I have the pleasure present to you the greatest fighter for freedom, Jadon Sancho.
There are flashes of exactly that. By the way, if you guys are tired of the stupid narratives online, the people rage baiting for pennies from Elon Musk's app, and you just want to discuss football with some like-minded individuals, then I've made the perfect Discord community for you guys. Click on the link in my description and talk with some people who actually want to talk about football. In his debut Bundesliga season, Adeyemi became the fastest player ever recorded in the competition. He finished his first year with 9 goals and 7 assists in all competitions, despite missing time through injury, and was named the Bundesliga Rookie of the Season. He also played a key role in Dortmund's run to the 2024 Champions League final, and consistently delivered in big games against elite opposition. But his time in Germany never quite reached the heights many expected. By February of 2026, Adeyemi had decided he wanted a new challenge. He informed Dortmund he wouldn't be signing a new contract, forcing the club to put him up for sale before risking losing him for free a year later. That decision opened the door for Barcelona. The German winger fits Hansi Flick's system really well. He has pace and power, which is exactly what Flick wants to see from his wide players. Instead of keeping both wingers glued to the touchline, Flick wants them starting in narrower positions, much closer to the striker. That creates overloads through the middle and allows for quick one-touch combinations around the box. Then if possession is lost, Barca have enough players nearby to immediately win the ball back. That's exactly the type of football Adeyemi loves. He's never been a traditional winger who wants to stand wide and just whip crosses into the box. His instinct is to always drift inside, to attack the half spaces, and play almost like a second striker. Playing off the left, he makes the same kind of runs that helped turn Rafinha into one of the best attackers in Europe under Flick. As defenders step up to deal with Adeyemi's pace, gaps naturally begin to appear, and those spaces can then be attacked by players like Dani Olmo, Pedri, Fermin Lopez, even Lamine Yamal. His pace also adds another dimension to Barca's attack that they don't always have. When Pau Cubarsí or Pedri or Yamal plays one of their trademark line-breaking passes, Adeyemi has the acceleration to get on the end of them before almost anyone else. And once he's running at a backpedaling defender, that's barbecue chicken. The partnership with Lamine Yamal could be especially exciting. With Yamal stretching the pitch on the right, defenders are naturally pulled across. That's why there's always an orgy on that right-hand side, because everybody wants to give a group hug to Yamal. That creates space on the opposite side for Adeyemi to make diagonal runs into the penalty area. Then Adeyemi can either shoot with a stronger left foot or drive to the byline and pull it back for someone else. It's a combination that perfectly suits Flick's aggressive style. But like any transfer, there are risks involved. Now I'm going to get to his weaknesses, but let's start with his strengths. And the obvious one is the one that I've talked about all video, and it's his pace. Very few players can match his acceleration over the first few yards. Once he gets into open space, defenders are always playing catch-up. That's what makes him such a devastating weapon on the counter, and why he's become one of Europe's most dangerous transition players. His movement is just as impressive. Adeyemi has a real knack for disappearing into defenders' blind spots before bursting in behind at exactly the right moment. Those runs are incredibly difficult to track, especially if he's playing alongside creative passers who can spot them early. He's also much more versatile than what people give him credit for. Although he's the most comfortable coming in from the left, he can play on either wing, through the middle as a striker, or just in behind the number 9. For a coach like Hansi Flick, who loves constant movement and positional rotations, that's a huge advantage. But he's far from a finished article. Let's start with one of his biggest weaknesses, his passing. Barca are one of the most possession-heavy teams in the world, and Adeyemi isn't naturally that type of player. His passing accuracy has often hovered around 72%, and when teams sit deep and pack the middle of the pitch, the haram low blocks that we see from Getafe, he can lose the ball trying to force difficult passes or dribbles. In Flick's system, giving the ball away in central areas means you are cooked. Decision making is another area that still needs some work. There are still too many moments where he keeps his head down for one dribble too many instead of playing the simple pass. Sometimes he'll beat one defender only to run straight into another when a teammate is in a much better position. His passing under pressure can also be inconsistent. When opponents force him into tight spaces, he doesn't always make the right choice, something that Flick will almost certainly look to improve. Then there's also the defensive side of his game. On paper, someone with Adeyemi's speed should be a pressing machine, but throughout his career, his defensive work has been inconsistent. Yes, there are matches where he hunts defenders relentlessly, but then there's others where his positioning falls apart, and the first line of the press is broken too easily. Under Flick, every forward is expected to press with intensity and discipline, so this will be something that he'll have to improve quickly. Then there's the biggest concern of all, injuries. Throughout his career, Adeyemi has dealt with reoccurring muscular problems, particularly hamstring issues. This isn't ideal for a player whose game relies so heavily on explosive acceleration. If those injuries continue, they can limit the very quality that makes him so special, and that's the gamble Barcelona are taking. The upside is enormous. If Flick can improve his decision making, keep him fit, and polish the rough edges of his game, Barca could be signing one of the most dangerous forwards in Europe. But if the injuries continue or his development stalls, he'll remain another what-if player. If you enjoyed this video, I'm sure you will love this one too. Check it out right here.